What is up, Central City? It's the 82nd Astronaut with my co-host Marco for another episode of Kicks and Comics, where not all superheroes wear capes, some wear Air Jordans. And this episode, we're going to focus on comic book films, what we liked, where they started from, where we think they're going, and all that goodness in between.
So really get ready for it, because basically we're going to be talking for the next hour and a half about the only Marvel film that matters, Elektra.
Ant-Man and Wasp. Oh, okay.
That's the
Daredevil.
Second. No. Daredevil's fine, but Elektra,
Roger
you brought it up in one of the previous casts, and we were joking about it, but I went back and bought it, and then I bought the director's cut also, just to make sure I could see all angles of the film.
Jeebus.
And highly underrated.
Okay. That playground fight scene with Batfleck?
Well, no, I mean that was Daredevil. Like, that was the seesaw.
Oh, wow.
Elektra's the one with where the girl has the tattoos where they come alive and stuff like that, which is cool. I have a ton of tattoos.
Shame on me.
See if my birds come out, but
right.
No, I'm just joking, because I've seen Elektra all of one time, and that was all I ever needed to see. But yeah, I mean, yeah. Let's not get into. We'll jump into what we were going to talk about.
And since we're talking about movies, we're munching on popcorn. So,
if you hear us chewing, sorry.
Sorry.
Fat people
Sorry,
gotta
not
eat
sorry.
too. So,
we don't get out much. So, I guess we can talk about, early Marvel movies where I didn't know this, but Dolph Lundgren made
the Punisher movie.
The Punisher movie when we were babies.
You didn't know that?
I mean,
I had an older
brother.
brother. Well, my older brother, though, I think probably turned me on it, because I think I actually saw that in the 90s.
I've never seen it.
I think we rented it from Hollywood Video or Blockbuster or something. Sorry, does Hollywood Video make you angry?
No, not at all.
Oh, okay.
Blockbuster's the one that fired me. So screw them. That's why you went bankrupt, sons of bitches.
Dolph Lundgren also, just to throw it out there, was the first He-Man in
Masters of the Universe.
Cinematic history. And I say first because they're supposedly remaking it, so somebody else will get that mantle eventually. Probably a Hemsworth. But
dear God.
But they're supposed to be remaking it. But yes, there was the Punisher film. There was also a Captain America movie.
Yes,
very early on. I think that might have been in the 80s, late 80s.
J.D. Salinger's son.
Yeah. And he had they show it at Alamo whenever they do like a Marvel movie. Usually they'll show that clip.
Yep.
Where he's got the motorcycle and the shield that like flies or whatever, but it's like not even metal. It's like plastic
see-through.
Yeah, plastic see-through. And there was a Spider-Man movie too, like way back. I think it might have been in the early 80s. I remember seeing clips of it, or actually maybe seeing the movie, but not seeing it.
I think you're thinking about the Japanese TV show.
No. There was actually a Spider-Man movie, I feel like. I'm going to look it up because...
Well, there was that treatment that James Cameron wrote that was supposed to be prior to the Tobey Maguire, Sam Raimi thing.
Okay.
Where he wrote a treatment for it. It was going to be like a really dark, dank Spider-Man where he was stalking MJ. Just look it up. Like, I don't remember
Stalking MJ, wow.
Yeah. At one point, he's like outside her window, like just doing God knows what. But it was James Cameron, so...
That's just my webbing. Yeah, alright, cool. Was there a TV show? Was it a Spider-Man TV show?
It was a Japanese TV show.
There was an actual American Spider-Man TV show. That's what I'm thinking
way.
of. Yeah.
Well,
1977 to 1979.
Well, they also had that Lou Ferrigno Hulk.
Yeah, that's
which they had Thor and Daredevil in one of them.
Where they changed Bruce Banner's name because Bruce was too gay of a name.
Yeah, to David.
David Banner, which was...
Shout out to the rapper. I like David Banner's mixtapes.
But yeah, so I mean, honestly, superheroes haven't been... It's not like it just all of a sudden became a thing. I mean, they had the Adam West Batmans, back in...
Linda Carter's Wonder Woman.
Yeah. So they've been around for a while, but they couldn't really do a good movie. Like, to your point, the Punisher movie with Dolph Lundgren wasn't great. Captain America film was not good.
There's also the Roger Corman Fantastic Four.
Was it? No, I haven't seen it.
Well, they never released it. Roger Corman, obviously Piranha 2, all those, Toxic Avenger. He put out a Fantastic Four movie, which to get around the whole CGI thing for the Human Torch, he turned into a cartoon, much like those like Max Fleischer Superman movies, Superman movies. When he would go into the air, he would just turn into a cartoon. And there's a great documentary on Hulu about the whole Roger Corman Fantastic Four movie. I think you could buy bootleg copies of it if you go to like the Comic-Cons or stuff like that. I never saw it.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen I knew about it thanks to Wizard back in the 90s. Wizard Mag put out a profile on it. And then again, like a year ago,
I've seen like screenshots of it. Like the thing is like in a foam. Like,
yeah, it's a great looking thing.
Yeah.
Like much like mine.
To what he looks like.
But
it's fabulous looking. To what he looks
orange
like.
And rocky too.
No
condition.
I mean, I'm sure it's better than what he looked like in this last Fantastic Four movie. It was just I didn't care for the Michael Chiklis one either, but the one with Jamie Bell was just it's like too rocky.
Yeah, well, he didn't even have pants in that one.
Yeah, he was just a rock, just a giant rock.
I kind of like that, like David Lynchian body horror. I didn't care for it, that as a whole, but I could see where they were trying to go.
Mm-hmm.
Jessica Alba's my Invisible Woman. Like, I don't know. She will always be.
I would never want Jessica Alba to be invisible, though. And part of the fun is being able to see Jessica Alba. Like, she turns invisible. It's like, oh, she went away. Where'd she go?
I had a friend who worked on Machete here in town,
uh-huh,
and said she was the most difficult person to work with. Like, people couldn't look at her because she did like a big. I mean, I don't want to put her on blast. Just what I heard. She did that whole thing in Machete where like the border didn't cross us, or we didn't cross the border crossed us. Well, apparently no one could look at her when she was shooting that, even though she was saying it in front of a crowd. I don't know. I've just heard she's difficult to work with.
Didn't want to make eye contact?
She didn't want people looking at her at all. I don't know. Again, this could be conjecture. Maybe I'll cut it out, but I've heard she's difficult to work with. And her company, Honest, I don't know. I don't like any of her products.
I like her husband's underwear.
Who's her husband?
Cash Warren.
I have no idea.
Pair of Thieves is his company.
Oh,
I wear Pair of Thieves underwear and socks.
Huh.
Shout out Pair of Thieves if you want to sponsor. This episode is so brought to you by Pair of Thieves, even though Enrique hates your wife.
I don't hate
You're going to have to cut that out.
I like Stance better. Shout out Stance.
Shout out Stance.
But yeah, Roger Corman had one.
No, I get it. And they've done, so that brings up the thing, though. They've done reboots, and like all of these movies like that we have now, like starting in the early 2000s, with the exception of X-Men, have kind of been like reboots. Like so they came up with the new Superman Returns. All the Batman movies. Like God, we had Michael Keaton as the first Batman, and then they just kept rebooting that.
Right.
So it's,
did you know Marlon Wayans was going to be Robin?
I did not know that.
He
was going to be Robin to George Clooney.
No, he was going to be Robin to Michael Keaton. He was going to be Robin in part. Well, no, I think he was going to be Robin in Batman Returns.
And
he was written into it. He was cut, and much like Jack Nicholson, he was getting paid throughout. I think all the way through Batman Forever, because Jack Nicholson's deal originally paid him through like 3 movies, and he only did one.
He dies in the first one,
right?
So
Jack Nicholson's a pimp. Like, dude,
he read the script and said, "Nope, he's gonna sign in for the next 2." It's like, Jack, you're dead in the first one. I know, but maybe I come back.
Yeah, maybe and
you got to pay me in case I come back
as a Force ghost or something. But Marlon Wayans was going to be the first Robin before Chris O'Donnell.
I'm not upset that he wasn't. Like, Marlon Wayans is fine, and don't get me wrong, I love me some Wayans brothers.
Oh yeah, I love that show. They're happy and they're singing.
We used to sing that all the time.
Da, 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 da. Give me a high five.
But Yeah, that would have been interesting. Like, hey, that would have been cool though had they done that, because people are so on this kick now of, oh, don't just cast him because he's white. Like people wanted Michael B. Jordan to be Superman, which that's fine.
There's precedent for that though, in comics.
No, I know, but I'm saying like people, but they wanted him to be Clark Kent though, didn't they? Or did they want him to be?
Oh, just like I don't know. But Billy D was Harvey Dent in Batman '89.
Yeah,
which
but
was
it seems
awesome.
But it seems like people don't have an issue with lesser known characters like being cast outside of what they're drawn as.
Right.
I get it from the perspective of like people are wanting James Bond to be like, everybody's lobbying for Idris Elba.
I'm behind that,
100%. And I'm fine with it if you want to shift it that direction. Like, I think Idris Elba's a great actor. I think if anybody were to take James Bond from what we've known him for so long, Sean Connery, to something not Sean Connery. Idris Elba's the perfect person to do that. And that would have been interesting had, they'd done that in Batman Returns and bring in Marlon Wayans to play Robin. A historically white character. Right. Being an African American kid. It would have been interesting if he would have been Dick Grayson or
Grayson Dick.
Or Jason Todd or whatever. I don't really think Jason Todd existed at that time, did he?
Yeah, he did.
So yeah, like that would have been that would have been cool.
Yeah.
That kind of leads into we're talking about the movie universe, and Batman obviously, I think, for us was probably the first superhero we saw on the big screen.
Batman '89.
Yeah, was seeing Michael Keaton, which everybody was kind of like, how's this gonna work? Like the guy from Mr. Mom and Gung Ho is playing
like Batman, which at the time
Bruce Wayne.
I had no idea.
I didn't think anything of it, because I mean, at that age, it wasn't like I was like, oh no, like now people are like, Robert Pattinson's going to be Batman. No, that can't happen. And like back then, maybe there was older people that were like, Michael Keaton is Bruce Wayne, like Batman. That's not going to work.
I think at this point, obviously we're in our mid-30s, but I've been proven wrong so many times that when they say like, oh, Robert Pattinson is a new Batman, I'm like, all right. Like
I'm totally going to give it a shot, because one, I think Robert Pattinson has drawn the unlucky, because he has the Twilight series as his biggest part of his filmography.
Right.
People are like, oh, the sparkly vampire kid? Yeah, he's going to be Batman? Yeah, that's not going to work. But he's actually legitimately a good actor.
Like, I've seen him in other stuff.
Yeah, in other stuff, he's good. So, realistically, yeah, pack on 20 pounds of muscle and give him a good script. I think he's going to do just fine.
But when Batfleck came out, I was like, this is not going to work.
And it totally worked.
The only thing that worked about that movie.
Totally worked.
Right.
I'm sad that we're not going to get to see a Ben Affleck-driven Batman movie.
Not really, because in Justice League, he just didn't care. And he was just there to cash a check.
But that's because I think he knew he was on his way out.
Oh, okay.
But I'm saying, had he been more invested, knowing that he was going to be continuing to play that character,
yeah, he would kind of like not
I think it would be
boned it in.
Yeah, I think it would have been fine. And like, I think because he was the only good part about Batman versus Superman.
The only.
So yeah, but at the end of the day, they're moving in a younger direction. They're going with Robert Pattinson. I think. I mean, I'm not sitting here saying I'm excited to see it, but I'm not going to sit here and say that I'm not going to go see it when it comes out. So
yeah,
I have no issues with him being cast as that character. It's just we'll see what he does with it. Especially, I mean, that character of all movie characters, like in the superhero universe, has been played by so many different people at this point.
Yep.
It's fine. It's kind of like when, with James Bond, like, you had Sean Connery, Roger Moore, Pierce Brosnan. There was a guy between Roger Moore and Timothy Dalton.
Yeah, just for one.
Yeah, I don't know that guy's
Our
name.
Majesty's Secret Service. He did one movie.
But
I think he died a couple of years ago. Sorry.
R.I.P.
We will put your name in the show.
Hey, whoa, actually, you know what? I totally forgot. We did not shout out Nana in the beginning of this episode. So, Nana, thank you so much.
And all the residents in Elmcroft where people don't
listening
go to
in. And we're still reeling after Mr. Niebaum's tragic bungee jump passing. But it's okay.
Funny story. I think he survived. I think I jumped the gun.
You jumped the gun?
On the news.
Oh, man.
So he may be alive. Nana's memories coming and going. He could be kicking it.
You know what? We'll have to stop in and visit.
We will.
We won't, but
somebody will.
Everybody at Elmcroft, thank you for listening, and anybody else that's listening, which the two other people that aren't listening from Elmcroft, thank you for listening as well. But like I was saying, like, Batman of all characters, it's like, yeah, like, he's been cast so many different times. Like, it's okay. Like, it'd be like, speaking on the current universes. So obviously, Avengers Endgame wrapped up the current stage of the Marvel universe right now. But it'd be like if all of a sudden tomorrow they said, who's somebody that hasn't been in a Marvel movie yet at this point in their career?
Michael Caine.
No.
He hasn't been in one.
Yeah, but I get that. But I'm saying, like, somebody younger. Like, give me somebody young.
Jonathan Lipnicki.
It's like if they said, you know what? Hey, we know we just killed off Iron Man, but we're rebooting Iron Man, and Jonathan Lipnicki's going to be the new Iron Man. That would be a little upsetting. You'd be like, whoa, but because Batman's been recast so many times,
did you know the Infinity Gauntlet weighs 8 pounds?
Did you know bees and Thanos can smell fear? The human head weighs 8 pounds.
It's a gauntlet. Anyways.
Oh, man.
Haley Holt. What's his name? Osment, the Sixth
Haley Joel
Sense kid.
Osment?
Yeah. That joke just derailed, so I'm not even going to try.
But yeah, no, like that's what I'm saying though. Is like, for these newer characters that we've seen, like everybody talks about, and we're really kind of spinning off here, but like Wolverine, Hugh Jackman wrapping up there.
It's fine. I'll allow it.
But now they're starting to talk about bringing and reintroducing Wolverine and recasting, and it's like I think people are kind of like, well, nobody else can play him.
They want to do that Kingsman kid, the Edgerton or Taron Egerton.
I'm okay. I like Taron Egerton just fine.
Egerton.
Which I actually saw.
Rocket Man.
So Once Upon a Time in Hollywood again.
Right. We were supposed to see it together.
We're
broken up for the next 5 minutes.
I will go see it with you.
Too late.
The third time, because it was just as good the second time around. I went to go see it with my parents.
You're lucky this microphone can't hear the sound of a heart breaking. It's not that good.
Wait. Nope, I think I just heard it. No, I went to go see it with my parents today, all right? So you can't
Today?
Yeah.
With your mom?
My mom and dad.
Who I know.
My brother.
Personally.
Yeah. So we went to go see it.
Made me oatmeal before.
But the only reason I bring it up is because before it came on, because the first time I saw it at Alamo, the second time I saw it at South Park, different set of trailers.
I could walk to South Park. Now I know the sound that doves make when they cry.
Oh man, I'm sorry. So we saw it there, but different set of trailers because it's a different theater. Mm-hmm. They showed the trailer for the Kingsman prequel.
Oh yeah.
The King's Man.
Yeah,
and it looked good. I like went over to my brother and I was like, is that one going to be better than the first one? Because the first one, like, in all honesty, went in with no expectations. I had no idea what it was going to be about. I did not think it was going to be violent. Like, because it was like, oh, it's about a kid spy. Like, this isn't going to be.
Yeah. Like
in that opening scene, the dude gets split in half, and you're just like, spoiler alert if you haven't seen it, and you're just like, what the is going on? Mm-hmm. But the trailer for this, like, in all honesty, the trailer opens up. My brother thought it was a trailer for that movie 1917 that's like about World War I.
Oh, that was dope. I want to see that one.
He thought that was what the trailer was for.
And then
it starts going on, and then he's like, oh wait, he goes, oh no, this is the Kingsman.
Yeah.
And then, like, the trailer was just like phenomenal. I was like,
I haven't seen the trailer.
Really good. So sorry, that was an aside, but
it's all comic related. Come on.
But yeah, so I'm sorry, I will go see it with you if you want to go see it for a third time. I mean, I'll go see it a third time, but
if you would. But going, I think they want that Egerton.
And I'd be fine with that. At least
Wolverine.
At least he's closer to Wolverine's actual height. Like, Hugh Jackman is 6'5" or something.
Do you know the first
6'1"?
I love these little, like, trivia. The first Wolverine was not supposed to be Hugh Jackman. It's supposed to be that guy from
Al Pacino.
No. From Mission Impossible 2. What's his name?
That's the one Mission Impossible I never saw.
Oh, jeez. Doug Ray Scott.
Okay.
He was just I think he would.
Mission Impossible 2 is the one like with the motorcycles, right? Where they drive
John
at each
Woo.
other and they.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never saw that one. I saw 1, and then I saw 3 because it had Philip Seymour Hoffman in it. I love Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Well, the thing is, he dropped out of X-Men to do Mission Impossible 2.
Oh, and they cast Hugh Jackman.
Right, and
Ka-ching for Hugh
Jackman.
And
Doug
20
Ray
years
Scott
later
is doing like Hitman, like one of the.
Let's be honest. Had he done Wolverine, he would not have had the success Hugh Jackman did.
I don't know. I honestly don't know. But it's one of those things where you hear those casting news where Marlon Wayans as Robin, Doug Ray Scott as freaking Wolverine, and then it's in the
Napoleon
alternate...
Dynamite as Iron Man. You know.
Right, like Jonathan Lipnicki as Groot.
Yeah.
You know, you never know, where these things can go. But going back to, I guess, early 90s movies where I think it was 1998, little known movie came out by this young up-and-coming actor, Mr. Wesley Snipes. I don't know if you guys have heard of him.
Oh, yeah, I think I know him.
Yeah.
He was in that movie To Wong Foo, right? He played a crossdresser?
I think so.
Yeah.
He also always taught me to bet on black.
Oh, yes, that gambling movie. Yeah.
Anytime I go to any gambling thing, whether it be slots, I always say bet on black, and sometimes I know what I'm talking about. So
I mean, Wesley Snipes, like, to be perfectly honest, you're talking the little lesser known actor Wesley Snipes cast in Blade.
Right, Westlin, I think he went by
Westlin Snipes.
Westlin Snipes.
I mean, he had his heyday. That was right around Blade was like the pinnacle of, like, he had done a lot of movies, Demolition Man, White Men Can't Jump, like a lot of stuff building up to that. Passenger 57, To Wong Foo, with
Murder
R.I.P. Patrick Swayze.
R.I.P. John Leguizamo's career.
That wasn't what killed his career, but
House of
he actually did a really funny bit about that. So I've seen John Leguizamo live. I love John Leguizamo. I saw him live. One of my ex-girlfriends, the many, took me to see John Leguizamo live at the Paramount, and he talks extensively in that stand-up about Patrick Swayze and
Really?
Fu. And
Please.
He did not like Patrick Swayze.
No way.
He said Patrick Swayze was like the most racist guy ever.
I can see that.
Would call him like really bad, like, Latin American slurs.
Shut up.
Yeah, they're not good on set. It was, and then he also had a lot to say about Steven Seagal as well, because he was in
Executive Decision.
Is that the one where Steven Seagal gets sucked out of the plane?
In like the first 5 minutes, and that was like the highlight of that movie.
He said the day Steven Seagal was supposed to die on that movie. I shit you not. He said the day he's supposed to die, he wouldn't come out of his trailer. And then he kept trying to pitch ideas of how he doesn't die. Basically saying that he was like holding the plane, like, because he's like between the plane that they're climbing up,
the
and then
stealth bomber,
and
like
he's saying like
Air Force One.
I'll hold them together and I'll pull them back together, and they were like, yeah, no, that's not gonna work. But John Leguizamo said he stood outside his trailer the day he was supposed to die because he was so happy, because he said the dude was just the biggest dick ever. Like, he hated Steven Seagal, and he stood outside his trailer. He wasn't even filming that day. He just stood outside his trailer because he wanted. You're dead today. But yeah, like. That's an aside.
Who knew?
So
I
Patrick Swayze.
R.I.P. dude.
I mean, I don't think Patrick Swayze was just like a complete asshole all the time. I just think they didn't get along on set, and
I think
I watched Roadhouse 2 weeks ago just for the hell of it, because it's such a stupid asinine movie. But
it's a cult classic.
I mean, yeah, it's a bouncer that goes from town to town and rips guys' throats out.
I know the movie Ghost word for word. Word for word.
Yeah, it's always awkward when you bring the pottery wheel over and you want me to reenact that scene with you.
It's the only scene.
And for some reason, I do it every time. But
yeah,
it's just weird. We're still doing that after we're done recording this. Okay.
Of course.
Yeah.
I brought more clay.
But yeah, but going back, Wesley Snipes was like really big. I remember seeing him in Demolition Man, and like Demolition Man, I think, is a fine movie. I think it's great. Like, Sandra Bullock.
3 shells.
Yeah, it's... honestly, our society might end up like that eventually.
If Taco Bell wins the food wars? I think at this point...
There are worse things that could win the food wars. I mean, our current president would love if Taco Bell won the food wars, so...
Or he'd probably like, I vote for McDonald's.
No, he'd want a McDonald's... Taco Bell hybrid,
right?
Even though one's Coke, one's Pepsi, he'd make them combine.
He'd do it.
But yeah, no. So
I love Mexicans.
But he's going to that though. Blade. I remember when that movie came out, and Blade is not a Marvel character that is like super popular. I mean, people know him. But probably more people know him now, more so because of Wesley Snipes playing him in a movie.
Yes, without a doubt.
And this is before like the Marvel Cinematic Universe. This didn't have tie-ins to other movies. This had no other superheroes in it. It was just
no stinger scenes, no after credit crap.
Just a hybrid vampire, half man, kick-ass superhero.
Who fights Steven Dorff? And Donald Logue.
Yeah, Donald Logue from Sons of Tucson.
Yep.
Of all guys. Stephen Dorff, yeah, which actually
I think Sanaa Lathan was his mother.
Yeah, yes, she
Slash
was
lover at the end.
Yeah, it was super awkward.
Like
that was a little
gross.
bit incestual. Yeah,
little
Chris Christopherson playing.
I met him once.
Did you really?
He's a nice gentleman.
I believe it.
Not as tall as it seems. I met him at my tennis center job. He came in.
R.I.P. Chris Christopherson.
He's still alive.
I don't think he is.
I'm pretty sure he is.
Pretty sure he just passed away.
Go to the internet tape.
Yeah, we'll look this up. Don't add us. And Chris Christopherson, if you're listening and you are alive, I apologize.
Yeah, please. We'd love to talk to you. But it's funny, like, I met him at my job. And, he's a country western singer. He's, sung with Willie Nelson. He's famous for that. When I met him, I was like, I love you as Whistler. And he just laughed his ass off. He's like, thank you. And then he just left. But he's totally cool about it because I kind of knew about his country western career, but I knew him as Whistler.
I mean, he is Whistler, and he's from Texas, and you're right, he's still alive. So
he's still alive.
I apologize, Chris Christopherson. I put you in your grave before you were ready.
Yeah, sorry. I loved him in Payback.
He lives in Hawaii though, so I'm sure he's not upset about.
No, not at all.
But yeah, so he plays Whistler, and yeah, he was really a good part of that movie. That movie in general is just good. The
first one was.
Not a lot of people I think watched it. It kind of became a cult classic after it came out.
Right.
And then part 2 got a little bit more notoriety because they got Guillermo del Toro to do the sequel and his take on the vampires, which in all honesty, he took that and put it right into his TV show, The Strain.
Yes.
The vampires' mouths opening the way they do. That's exactly what The Strain is. When I saw the trailer, no, it's done.
Okay, once that guy's penis fell off in that show, I'm like, I'm done.
When that first was coming out and they showed the trailer and how it was like, oh, I was like, so it's just the vampires from Blade 2,
right?
But yeah, no. So Blade didn't do great in the box office, but well enough that they were like, yeah, let's try it again. Mm-hmm. Let's do another one. And I thought I think Blade 2 is one of those rare movies that is probably the best of the trilogy to me. I think story-wise,
they're different movies. If you look at 1, 2, and 3,
they're all different.
Totally.
Yeah. A lot of people hate 3, and I don't mind 3. A lot of people hate 3 because of Ryan Reynolds.
3 brought us Deadpool.
Yeah.
That's Deadpool.
Yeah, a lot of people don't like Ryan Reynolds' character in Blade 3, but I thought he was good as the comedic relief. Mm-hmm. And then also it was really weird because I knew Ryan Reynolds before Blade 3. I had seen Two Guys, a Girl in a Pizza Place with Nathan Fillion and Téa Leoni. Mm-hmm. And he had been in a lot of other, Van Wilder. He was in a lot of stuff where he was just this scrawny, funny dude.
Right.
And then in Blade 3, he takes off his shirt and you're like, when did this guy start using HGH? Jesus Christ. Mm-hmm. Just got ripped, and that's the Ryan Reynolds everybody sees now today.
Right.
The Just Friends Ryan Reynolds that hasn't eaten a carb in 8 years.
Right. Which he was fat in Two Guys and a Girl.
He wasn't fat. He wasn't
normal.
Yeah, he was normal. He wasn't ripped. He wasn't what Blake Lively loves every night now.
Right. When he did Amityville Horror and they showed him as a dad, I'm like, no dad has an 8-pack. Just saying. I'm just saying. As a dad, I have a keg.
I mean, Ryan Reynolds is a dad now too.
Yeah, F that guy.
I mean, he's got an 8-pack sometimes. Not always.
Sometimes, yeah. I mean, he gets paid to do it, and it's his job. It's fine. I'm not gonna hate.
Yeah.
Hey, who are the police arresting outside? A quick aside.
No, nobody. They're doing construction work on the highway.
Oh, all right. So yeah, we're going to the Blade trilogy. The third one was directed by the guy that David S. Goyer, who shout out is directing, or he wrote Dark Fate, Terminator, the new Terminator coming out. But he wrote Blade 1, and he put that kind of harvesting scene in Blade 3 where the vampires are putting humans in plastic bags and sucking them dry. He put that in number 1. It's like a deleted scene. Mm-hmm. But then obviously I think Steve Norrington, that was his last movie he ever directed because I think he, again, going to the whole notorious actor thing, thought that Wesley Snipes was just horrible to work with. So I think that was his last movie. He's like, I'm out. And I don't think he's directed anything, obviously being his last movie. But David Goyer directed and wrote the third one. And I think it kind of shows, because David Goyer has a certain je ne sais quoi about all his movies. Like, you could tell, like, I think Jumper was one of his. He wrote Man of Steel, but Chris Nolan was kind of like reined him in. So just saying that the Blade movies are 3 different movies because it's, it's 3 different people directing and writing them. But I like 3.
I like 3. I like them all. Like, if I'm being honest, like, I think the trilogy's fine. And you're right, they are 3 like separate movies. And to be fair, they don't. It's not your typical trilogy where it kind of, or at least trilogy from the standpoint of like what we're used to now with the superhero universe, where each movie kind of takes you back to something from the previous movie or calls back. Like, these are just 3 consecutive movies that are 3 different stories and don't have any real tie back to, like, the vampires from 2 have nothing to do with part 3. Yeah, so
except for that Pomeranian.
Yeah, except for the Pomeranian. It was Parker Posey's Pomeranian. Yeah, Triple H from WWE,
Jeez.
WWF was in that also. That was when he was trying to make a, jump to the cinematic universe.
Trying to pull a Bautista now.
Before Batista.
Yeah.
He
didn't
try to make the jump. He tried to make the jump before The Rock, because The Rock hadn't jumped into movies yet either.
No, The Rock had the rundown.
Maybe right around the same time, but it wasn't.
True.
The Rock wasn't the giant star he is.
He wasn't Dwayne Johnson.
He was trying to make his jump, and it never panned out for Triple H.
Remember when he didn't like to be called The Rock, and now it's just like, it's The Rock.
I mean, he's Dwayne Johnson in the credits, but
true.
He goes by The Rock on IG. But every movie he's in now, for the longest time, remember, like, in the movies, it'd be Dwayne The Rock Johnson. Now he's just Dwayne Johnson in credits. But I think he at this point also realizes he would be nowhere if it wasn't for wrestling.
For The Rock, yeah.
So
Rocky Marciano.
He wasn't Marciano.
Rocky Maivia.
Maivia.
Yeah. Sorry.
I'm the wrestling fan here. So.
Okay. Yeah.
No. I know what you're talking about. But yeah, when he first originally came into the WWF, it was still the WWF at that time.
Mm-hmm.
He was Rocky Maivia, the grandson of High Chief Peter Maivia.
Mm-hmm.
And then he became Rocky Johnson for a little bit, or he was Rocky Johnson. Then he just became The Rock. And then, he's just blew up. He became the most electrifying man in sports entertainment today. But yeah, he's, he was able to make that jump, and Batista did the same thing that Triple H did. He was in a couple things, actually, and then got lucky with
Drax.
With Drax in Guardians of the Galaxy. He did I think he was in like the Kickboxer remake or something like that.
Michael Jai.
He played heavies in some things, but he wasn't any. But and then he honestly I think he was really good in Blade Runner 2049.
Mm-hmm.
Small part there, but he did a really good job and showed that he can kind of do more than just be the lovable Drax that he is. But
he's also Inspector.
The
James Bond.
I haven't seen that one, so I saw. To me, I thought Skyfall was really, really good.
Skyfall is my hands down favorite.
Modern
Bond movie.
I thought Skyfall was. I thought was the Casino Royale was good.
Yes.
I didn't really care for Quantum of Solace.
It was during the writer's strike, so it was crap.
Yeah, Quantum of Solace is like a little confusing and everywhere.
It was written like by 8 different scrubs.
So, didn't really care for that. But then Skyfall, I was like, oh my god, this movie's great.
Yeah,
so
then Home Alone and James Bond. It's not so like.
I just didn't go see the one after that because I was like, I don't want to ruin it.
It doesn't. No.
But yeah, but anyway, spinning back, like Blade was the first real superhero trilogy. Because right around when Blade happened is when we got X-Men also.
Yeah, X-Men.
But X-Men blew up because people knew
who the X-Men
were. Yeah. So people were actually like, yeah, let's go see X-Men. Like, nobody really... Blade? Okay, it's just a black guy with a sword.
I didn't even know... I mean, it has Marvel Entertainment. I think at some point, but not as prominent as what it is now. And I remember seeing it, and really, this was back when I wasn't really, I was honestly, I'm not ashamed to say it, I was afraid of horror movies. And I kind of saw that as a horror movie, so I didn't see it. Yeah, whatever.
I'm joking.
No, I 100% get it, because now I see it, I'm like, this movie was not scary, but that fat Asian, like, vampire that they burn alive or something,
That's pretty creepy.
When I kind of saw that, I obviously I rented it at some point, and I saw that, I was like, no, I'm done. But now it's a good movie, it's gory as all get out. And it was, I like, if I were to rate them, it'd probably be like, I would go 1, 2, 3. But you'd go what?
I'd go 2, 1, 3.
2, 1, 3?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I really, because the other thing, and part of this is because I love Guillermo del Toro.
Yeah.
Which we'll jump into, we'll get back to X-Men.
Mm-hmm.
But I love Guillermo del Toro. Like, Pan's Labyrinth, amazing movie. I think Blade 2 was awesome. Like, I freaking love Pacific Rim just because I think it's he didn't try to make it anything more than what it is. It's a movie about robots that are beating up giant monsters.
Yeah, he just took
and
a risk.
the movie absolutely does not try to be more serious than it. Like, with the exception of Idris Elba's big speech at the end, it does not try to be anything.
The apocalypse.
Yeah, it does not try to be anything other than this is a ridiculous robot versus monster movie.
What's his name in that? Like Christmas Pentecost or something like that? Something religious?
I don't.
Like Resurrection Easter?
I didn't care for the second one, but I love Pacific Rim. But and there's actually, he did a lot of like before he came over and became mainstream in America. He did a lot of stuff.
Mexico.
Foreign language, Spanish. He did this one movie that I actually have the Blu-ray of, and I got a real big Guillermo del Toro. You can see right there. There's a book next to the Boyhood book.
Yeah, this one.
It's like basically like if you open it up, it's like his journal writings and stuff like that. It's a great book.
Probably haunted.
It most definitely is. But it got me on this big kick, and I actually watched this movie. It's called The Devil's Backbone.
Yep.
And it's about these kids in an orphanage in Mexico.
Yeah.
And it's a phenomenal movie. It's a scary movie.
Yeah.
And it's pretty, because the other thing is, there's nothing, like scary movies, I'm not a huge horror fan. I'll go watch them, but nothing's creepier than little kids and scary movies.
Right.
So this movie's like, turn it up to 11, kind of scary, but it's a great movie. But if I'm being honest, the thing that, like, I liked Blade 2, but the thing that really turned me on to Guillermo del Toro and really got me was Hellboy.
Yeah.
And Hellboy did not get a lot of pub when it first came out. Kind of got lost in the shuffle because it's right around the time like that Iron Man and like all the Marvel movies were starting to come out. The first Hellboy with Ron Perlman, or it came out and then all those movies came out and everybody just kind of forgot about Hellboy and it was all about the Marvel cinematic
Yeah, I think Hellboy was at least
2004
1 or 2
maybe
years
like,
before.
Yeah, I think Hellboy was 2004, 2005.
Yeah.
But I thought Hellboy was amazing when
The
I saw
first
it.
one, yeah.
I was like, man, this movie's great. It's amazing. And really kind of got me in this Guillermo del Toro kick, and I started watching everything I could find of his. So that's kind of why like I have an affinity for Blade 2 also, knowing that he directed it and put his spin on it. So that's why I would rank it 2, 1, 3.
Okay.
But
no, I know about Devil's Backbone, and it's one of those where he made another one. Did he make Mama or something like that recently, which is kind of that same kind of orphanage?
So the weird thing about him is he does these movies where I don't think he directed Mama. I think he produced it though.
Okay.
He does these things where it's like produced by Guillermo del Toro, and then some, like he did a movie with Alexander, the guy who did Gravity. I think he produced a movie that he directed.
Cuarón, yeah.
Yeah. So he does a lot of that stuff where he like goes and produces some other guy that's coming up. He really pays it back to the younger directors and stuff like that. Which
Gravity's awesome. I love that movie.
I watched El Rey, like they did. Robert Rodriguez does his directors thing, and the one with him and Guillermo del Toro. I was like, yeah, I love that one. I actually really like the one where he does with Sylvester Stallone also.
Which a lot of people don't realize don't remember, he won an Oscar for Rocky. He's an intelligent writer.
Yeah, no, he doesn't come across, but he's super smart.
Right.
And yeah, like people don't realize that Rocky's an Academy Award film. Like, say what you want about the guy, like, yeah, okay, he did Demolition Man, he did,
Cobra.
Cobra. Like he did all these
Expendables 8.
He did Rocky. It sucks like this.
Yeah.
He sucks like he's not all there. And it's like, but the dude is legit smart.
He's smart.
And yeah, I mean those performance enhancing drugs are going to do a little bit to your speech pattern.
Right.
But no, his director's cut with Robert Rodriguez is really good as well. Like, and he talks about that also in the writing and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But which is it's a solid show anyway. I don't have it right now, but I watched it. Saw the one with him and John Carpenter, which is good. John Carpenter's Thing is a great movie.
That's a classic.
Classic with the biting the arms off and
But you
altogether solid.
But yeah, coming back to, I guess, comic book movies, we're talking about the X-Men. It came out, I think it was 99, 2000, and it's one of those things where I remember when Wizard did like a casting call of like who would be the perfect X-Men. They only got one casting call prediction correct, and that was Patrick Stewart as Professor X, which everybody knew if he's not Professor X, what are we doing here?
The problem was there was no other bald actors around.
Right.
So it was kind of like Wizard didn't even have to think hard on that one. They were just like, yeah, that guy's bald already.
Patrick
Let's
Stewart.
do him.
He's English.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I mean, but he is Professor X. I mean.
Yeah. And he's been Professor X, for 15 some odd years? I think he's
going on 20? 20 years.
20?
Yeah. It was 99, I think.
Right.
So,
right.
I mean, 19 years, because the last time we played him was in Logan,
Which, awesome movie. I like that one.
It was the perfect way to end Hugh Jackman's run, if it really is at the end of his run.
I think so. I think one of the things he said when he was filming, what was the Wolverine, where he's like, I'm tired of almost passing out during fight scenes from being just dehydrated and just showing like all his veins and stuff.
Well, that's what he had to do for that one because he had to be so vascular. He put on a lot of muscle for the Wolverine. For the first Wolverine movie, he wasn't as jacked. He was muscular, but he's more lean.
Are you talking about Wolverine Origins or X-Men Origins?
X-Men Origins, he wasn't that jacked.
No,
he was like a leaner Wolverine. Mm-hmm. In the Wolverine, they wanted him to be more muscular, so he had to put on a lot of, which he got even bulkier for Logan, which I don't necessarily think he went and got bulkier. I think he just with age, he got bigger and was able to turn it into more muscle.
Mm-hmm.
But Logan was just such a good movie.
Yeah.
I actually I have the digital, but I have the digital that has the color
black
version
and
the black and white version. And watching it in black and white is just still just as good. It's kind of like watching Mad Max Fury Road.
In black and white.
They had the chrome edition, and you can watch it in black and white, and it's still just as good. It's but yeah. So you're right. Wizard did do that casting call. I remember prior to. Wizard would always do these dream casting calls for superhero movies because it was before superhero movies were actually legitimately a thing. And yeah, they never really ever got them right.
No.
And if I'm being honest, they didn't cast it right. They didn't cast it right, but the people they chose did not get cast as the X-Men. Who knows if they would have been better? I don't necessarily the X-Men movies are fine. 3 was. Just like Spider-Man 3, they shouldn't have made it. But Famke Janssen as Jean Grey, I really didn't like.
No.
James Marsden as a very, very short Cyclops, wasn't really a fan of. And the problem I have with that is because Cyclops is 6'4" in the comic books.
Right.
He's a huge dude, and Wolverine's supposed to be 5'2", and they completely turned it on its head and have Hugh Jackman, who's towering over little James Marsden. And then Anna Paquin, she got cast as Rogue because she had won an Oscar for not talking in a movie.
Was it the
piano?
Right. Yeah.
Or no, was it the piano? Or
I think it was the piano.
No.
Or it was one of those fly away home geese movies.
She won an Oscar, so they were like, yeah, you're going to be in this movie. The only person that I feel was cast right in that movie outside of Hugh Jackman was Sabretooth,
the wrestler,
because he actually at least looked like Sabretooth from the comics, and then they cast Liev Schreiber in X-Men Origins Wolverine
and Will.i.am
and yeah, I don't know what they were thinking.
And Ryan Reynolds is Deadpool first appearance.
Yeah, and he was fine until they bastardized him and sewed his mouth shut and
Right.
did all that weird stuff to him. Like, he was good as Wade Wilson.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he was 100% the guy he was supposed to be, but they just... It was like they did what they did with Venom and Spider-Man 3.
Topher Grace.
Yeah, they bastardized a character that should have been so much more.
It was a cash grab.
Yeah.
But
Just like putting, Taylor Kitchen as Gambit. Everybody thought, oh, here's Gambit for the first time, and then nothing happened. So,
jeez, that movie.
yeah, no, I mean, thank God he got 2 more chances, like, at his own movies as Wolverine.
Well,
because Origins did not do him any. And Origins, honestly, X-Men Origins Wolverine killed the Origins idea.
Yeah, I was gonna say that
because they were gonna do X-Men
Magneto.
Origins, Magneto, X-Men Origins. They were gonna do Origins spin-offs where they did all the characters and did their origin stories. And Origins Wolverine did so bad, they were like, "Yeah, no, we can't do this."
Which Magneto as a Nazi hunter, how they did him in X-Men First Class would have been a baller movie. Like, when in First Class, where he's, like, hunting Nazis in Argentina, I was like, I want to watch this movie. Forget the rest of First Class. This is the movie I want to see. Fassbender hunting Nazis.
Yeah,
With magnetic powers.
X-Men First Class and the introduction of Michael Fassbender as Magneto was just hands down, like, just great.
Okay, I was like, where's this going?
It was great.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because the thing about it, and the thing I love even more about it, is because when we see the first X-Men movie, we see that scene. Yes. The little boy getting separated from his parents, and you're like, oh crap! Like, you really, and then you almost sympathize with this Magneto character because that's where he came from,
Yeah.
like. And you call back to that, and then the fact that they bring it back in First Class and they do that same scene all over again, but then they show you what happens afterwards with the Kevin Bacon, and,
right?
Like turning him into a weapon, and then you understand even more like why he is the way he is. And Fassbender just did such a good job of portraying like that anger for being turned into this. Like, he didn't want that.
No, not at all.
But that's what he was forced to be.
Which, when you think about it, when the X-Men are fighting an octogenarian Holocaust survivor, you're like, y'all are dicks. What are y'all doing?
Just leave the poor man alone.
Leave him alone. But anyways.
No, First Class is great. So.
But I think that that first X-Men took us into Sam Raimi's Spider-Man, which at the time, I remember sitting in line waiting for that because it was... Not knowing that whole James Cameron had wrote a treatment for it, where it was all supposed to be dark. But Sam Raimi, I wasn't a big Evil Dead fan. I think that's, at the time, like, the biggest thing he was known for. But that movie, for me, just hit everything. Like, I like the story. Mary Jane, or what's her name? Kirsten Dunst is Mary Jane. James Franco, who wasn't the James Franco we all know now.
Yeah, he was barely... Like, James Franco was actually coming off of doing, like, independent movies at the time.
Was he in Freaks and Geeks?
He was in Freaks and Geeks, but then also, like, he had done... Like, he played James Dean, I think, in a movie. He was in City by the Sea with Robert De Niro, where he plays, like, the son of, like, a cop who gets into some trouble. Like, he was kind of like an indie darling. Like, he was doing, like, these, like, lesser-known movies... And then Spider-Man kind of thrust him into, like, blockbuster type stuff.
He was having the career Jonathan Lipnicki should have had.
Yeah, exactly. Like, Lipnicki's kicking himself for turning down that Spider-Man film. Franco got thrust into, and I'll be honest, like, I think the Spider-Man, even though, like, he's kind of gone in a weird direction now, but, like, the Spider-Man movies put him into other movies that, like, 127 Hours, I don't think he does had he not been in, like, the Spider-Man movies and stuff like that, because he wouldn't have been as marketable, you know what I'm saying? People went to go see 127 Hours because, one, it's a crazy real-life story, but also because it was James Franco as the guy. So
Danny Boyle, too.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, those are the types of movies where
it was
you gotta put a name in it to, like, get people to be like, all right, I'm gonna go see this.
I saw it in theaters.
Yeah, I saw 127 Hours in theaters.
Like, it's one of those movies where nowadays I'll only go to theaters for spectacle. but it's one of those movies where I was like, this guy, not knowing that, at hour 127, he's gonna chop his arm off
with a Swiss Army knife.
Right, not even like a pocket knife.
Yeah,
it's like watching Titanic. You're like, these people are gonna die.
Awful. And then the worst part is you're like, man, that dude really did that.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, God, that was harsh. But even spinning back to that, yes,
right.
like, Spider-Man, Tobey Maguire, and know this about me, and our listeners should know now because I've said it a million times.
Dr. Octopus is your favorite superhero?
No, Spider-Man is my favorite hero.
Mm-hmm.
So seeing that movie,
mine's Toad.
Seeing that movie, was just like mind blown emoji, like little smiley face with his head popping off the top. I was just like, I just could not stop thinking about that movie. Mm-hmm. I couldn't wait for it to come out on DVD. I got the DVD. I watched it 100 times. Like, I loved that Spider-Man movie. I did not know that Tobey Maguire was not the best Spider-Man until they cast other people as Spider-Man. But Tobey Maguire, was it for me at that point in time.
Andrew Garfield.
No. I think Tom Holland's the best live-action Spider-Man so far.
Oh, wow.
I really do. I think he played, because of the way they cast him and had him in the high school and stuff like that.
Oh, got it.
I think because also, they cast Tobey Maguire as Spider-Man and he was 30.
50.
Yeah. He wasn't a teenager. But, at that time, everything was, on TV, was all 20-somethings playing teenagers.
Well, that Manganella guy was also a high schooler. Like the guy from True Blood.
Oh, yeah. He played Flash.
Yeah.
I forgot he played Flash. Yeah, no, but I'm just, you know what I'm saying, though. Especially back then, when we were in high school, we were watching people that were looking in the mirror going, I don't look like that. Because it was 28-year-olds playing 16-year-olds.
And when, just a quick aside, when they made Superbad and they actually used high school kids as high schoolers, I'm like, what is this? They have these babies. But I'm like, no, we were, like you said, watching 35-year-olds play 18.
Yeah.
Not knowing.
Yeah.
I think, just a quick side note, the Ferris Bueller characters, I think, Cameron Fry was 30 or 29 trying to play an 18-year-old. And you're like, oh, this is what 18-year-olds look like. Nope.
Yeah. So that was the thing. And I think, Tom Holland being at least closer to looking like he's actually in high school. And I think he plays a good, awkward, Peter Parker, which I think that's the thing Andrew Garfield missed. Is I liked Andrew Garfield. I think he's a good actor. Mm-hmm. And I liked him as Spider-Man just fine, but Peter Parker wasn't a sure-talking, cocky kind of, skater kid.
No.
He was awkward, geeky, unsure of himself, even though he's Spider-Man, still very, unsure.
Yeah, no one call on me because
Andrew Garfield never exuded that, even though he tried to play, I don't know, Gwen, okay, whatever, dude.
Well, he created Facebook.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's true. He did create Facebook, so. Had he created Facebook, he would have created Facebook, okay?
He would have. Yeah.
No, but I loved the first Spider-Man, and then Spider-Man 2 came out.
The best one. I'll go 2-1.
It's the same thing as the Blade trilogy.
Okay.
It was 2-1. I'm gonna pretend 3 never happened. I won't say that for the Blade trilogy, but Spider-Man 3 should. Sam Raimi, I love you, but yeah, I'm sorry, that was not a good movie.
Yeah.
So, but Spider-Man 2 was amazing. One, they perfectly cast Doc Ock.
Alfred Molina.
Alfred Molina did a great job, and it's just a really good movie all around. And that was honestly, Spider-Man 2 came out, and then you're just like, man, I can't wait for Spider-Man 3. And then Spider-Man 3 came out, and you're just like,
the dude from Sideways is playing Sandman.
And then and then Spider-Man 3 came out, and then they said, hey, we're gonna reboot Spider-Man, and you said, thank God.
But I don't get when they did with Andrew Garfield. We already know his story. I'm kind of glad Far From Home
didn't touch on the
there's
whole Uncle
Ben's
Ben
dead.
Well, they couldn't because of the way they introduced him, because they were bringing him into the MCU, which thank God Sony made the deal to let them take Spider-Man back into the MCU.
I'm still waiting on Fantastic Four.
But that's the thing. Let's talking about, we had X-Men, we had Spider-Man. I think, in all honesty, people were clamoring then, when are we going to see a Spider-Man X-Men crossover?
Okay.
People were saying, because X-Men was a thing, Spider-Man was a thing, and Spider-Man has been involved with the X-Men at some points in time in the
Yes.
Marvel Universe,
Mhm.
people were like, oh, it only makes sense. Let's see Spider-Man and X-Men together. That was never going to happen at that time because Spider-Man is Sony, X-Men is Fox. So there was no way that was going to end up being a thing. But I think those movies and the success of those movies started turning the wheels of, all right, well, we can make this a bigger thing than it is.
Right.
Because up to that point, the only other movies we had seen were DC movies, Batman movies, really, and that was it. But they hadn't even touched on building or expanding that universe. After Christopher Reeve's Supermans, we had Batman. They never brought the two together.
No.
Then Batman came, and then the first foray of rebooting anything in DC was Superman Returns, which they didn't reboot. It was just supposed to be a pickup right after Superman 4.
What was that? That was after Batman Begins, though. Like, by a little bit.
Superman Returns?
Yeah.
Was it? I think Batman Begins came out after.
Ooh. Maybe. But that's another thing.
Funny thing, we have these things called smartphones.
Yeah. Well, and I'll go into the whole, like, Christopher Nolan Batman. Talking about who's cast as Batman. When they announced not Christopher Bale, Christian Bale. I knew
Kid
him
from Newsies?
Right, and Empire of the Sun, but I'd recently seen him in Shaft. He plays like the douchey rich guy that kills, I think, Mekhi Phifer at the beginning, and Shaft,
that's right.
Yeah, Shaft and Buster Rhymes are trying to like get him in some kind of. They're trying to like get him back to, and freaking going back to James Bond. Jeffrey Wright is playing some kind of stereotypical caricature of.
You were right. Batman Begins 1 year before Superman Returns.
Yeah, I knew it was like just neck and neck. But anyways, I had no qualms about Christian Bale playing Batman, and obviously I liked all three of them, and I have to say,
I love all three of them.
I don't like Dark Knight, the Dark Knight, as much as everyone says you should. The one with Heath Ledger, I think it's bloated. They just try to do too much. If they would have cut out the Two-Face part, it would have been even greater than it is.
Trying to
think on that.
No, I understand what you're saying because it does fall into that. Like, I think they did a great job in Dark Knight Returns of having more than one villain, but not overshadowing either villain. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't even know that there's another villain really until the very end.
Right, unless you know, like, Harvey Dent is.
No. I'm talking about
Williams.
No, I'm talking about in Dark Knight Returns, the last one.
With
where Bane.
Spoiler alert, Talia.
Yeah, yeah. So it's like you don't know until the double cross. So it's like it's not overshadowing. Yes, in Batman, in the Dark Knight, I can understand what you're saying because they take a character that is actually pretty prominent in Batman lore, Two-Face, and don't give him his due.
Yeah,
I understand why they use him the way they do because it's part of the Joker's plan. But hands down, I mean, out of all three movies, Heath Ledger is the greatest villain he had in any of those movies. Like,
I beg to differ.
You think Bane is better?
No, not at all. I just want to do the voice.
No.
Here's 20 minutes of us doing Bane.
I was born in the darkness.
We're going to do the whole rest of the podcast as Bane. But no, Heath Ledger is just phenomenal. And if I'm being 100% honest, I don't know that if he doesn't die, he wins an Oscar. But
he definitely doesn't.
There's that argument. I think he was great.
Rest in peace.
And the thing is that I think he was great. The only reason I say that I don't know that he wins the Oscar if he doesn't die is because up to that point,
he should have won for A Knight's Tale.
Absolutely, hands down. Shannon Sossaman, where did you go? I think
Oregon,
hands down, like he was phenomenal in that movie. He does a great job. He was a great actor. Like R.I.P. Like in all honesty, it was super sad when he died. It was like one of those things that you just can't believe has happened. Like I remember, like I'll be honest, like I remember seeing him in 10 Things I Hate About You, and he hadn't done anything really up to that point, or at least anything that anybody knew. And I'm not kidding you. I saw 10 Things I Hate About You in the movie theater, and I remember seeing that movie and seeing Heath Ledger in it, and I remember going, that guy should be in way better movies than this movie. Like, not that 10 Things I Hate About You is
Like
a
A Knight's
bad
Tale.
movie. Yes, A Knight's Tale is a great movie. Not that 10 Things I Hate About You is a bad movie. I think 10 Things I Hate About You is actually a really good movie, but
It's based on Taming of the Shrew.
Yeah.
It's a...
No, I know Shakespeare.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, but I think, like, there was something about him in that movie that you're just like, this guy's gonna do big things.
Mm-hmm.
And then he was cast like in The Patriot with
Like
Mel
A Knight's
Gibson.
Tale.
He was cast in The Patriot with Mel Gibson. He was cast in A Knight's Tale.
Acknowledge it, damn it.
He was cast in A Knight's Tale with
Oh,
Alan
that's-
Tudyk, and what's his
other guy?
the guy who plays Jarvis and
Martin
Vision.
Lawrence.
Martin Lawrence is not in that movie.
Oh, he's in the Black Knight.
He's in a Black Knight.
Jeez.
Oh my god. No, who's the guy who plays Vision? I know this guy's name. I actually really like him. I like him a lot.
Bettany.
Paul Bettany's
Which
in A
he
Knight's
put
Tale.
out a horrible movie about hobos. Have you seen that movie?
No.
With Anthony Mackie and his wife as homeless people?
Oh, I heard about it.
Do
I
not
didn't see it.
It's like he hates his wife. Because he puts his Jennifer Connelly through so much crap in that movie. My wife and I watched that movie and we're like, does he... Because I said like, oh, Vision directed it and Anthony Mackie's it. Anthony Mackie.
Falcon's in it. It's just gonna be a superhero movie.
Yeah, about homelessness. And then like he has her being like not assaulted, but like she trades sex for shelter with a guard, and it's just, you're like, oh my, and they just don't see it. It's a horrible.
Well, now I kind of have to.
Yeah.
I mean, thanks for putting it out there. But no, but A Knight's Tale. But no, like, to my point though, like Heath Ledger, like just in that movie, you could tell he was gonna do bigger and better things. And
I don't think I ever saw that movie.
You never saw 10 Things I Hate About You?
No, I think it's one of those things where I thought it was like She's All That kind of.
Yeah, it wasn't. It was better.
Does he talk like this in the movie?
No, well, no, because he was Joker. He wasn't Bane.
Oh, damn it! That joke just fell flat.
He laughs. You want to know how I got these scars? He does that, but
No.
he was great in that movie. And like, to say what you want, like, in all honesty, A Knight's Tale is entertaining. Like, it's fine.
I never saw it.
It's not a great movie, but it's entertaining, and it has really good actors in it.
He
Alan
played
Tudyk.
Casanova.
He did play Casanova as well, yeah. So, but I mean, let's not take away he was in Brokeback Mountain.
Mm-hmm.
In all honesty, he probably should have won an Oscar for that.
Crash won that year.
Yeah, but I'm saying like Heath Ledger, like just his
Oh,
role.
mhm.
And then
I wish I could quit.
he died like a year later, like or 2 years later when he was
Right.
filming. It's actually in the middle of filming The Imaginarium of Dr. Parnassus, which
Colin Farrell.
very trippy Terry Gilliam movie, and Colin Farrell and Jude Law actually jumped in and helped out to fill in after he passed away. But he was great as Joker. In all honesty, Jack Nicholson, I know a lot of people said he set the standard for the Joker in Batman '89, but like Heath Ledger took Joker to where Joker should be. Like, that's the Joker that
Yeah.
you want to see. Like, I'm interested to
Cesar
see what
Romeo's been my Joker.
I'm interested to see what happens with Joaquin Phoenix's take on this new.
Oh my gosh! Can we talk about that for like
Yeah, absolutely. The thing
85 minutes?
The thing I like about it now is now knowing that that's it. It's just that one movie.
Mhm.
Like, it's not going to be part of any of the other
No.
universes. It's not even going to be based on the Batman Joker, really. It's just
No.
introducing a whole new Joker.
I love it. When I
and
saw that, oh, I'm sorry.
the trailer? No, go
I'm
for
excited.
it. Yeah,
Like
yeah.
I just wet myself.
Yeah, it looks amazing. I like Joaquin Phoenix. He did that weird thing where he like pissed off David Letterman and said he was going to go be a rapper or something like that, and kind of fell off the face of the earth for a little bit. But he did that mockumentary with
Right.
Casey Affleck of
Yes.
like, I'm Not Here or whatever.
Yeah.
And he went on the Letterman show like gearing up for that, and like I remember I actually watched that episode
Mhm.
live. Like, I was watching it, and Letterman was pissed, bro. He was just like, the fuck is this guy doing? But Joaquin Phoenix is actually a really good actor. There's a movie called Don't Worry, He Won't Get Far on Foot with him and Jonah Hill. I actually really love Jonah Hill also.
Mm-hmm.
And it's actually a pretty good
Suck
movie.
it.
He plays it's based on a true story, like a guy that
Not
did
really.
cartoons, a disabled guy who drew cartoons.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm interested to see this Joker movie. I think it's gonna be great.
Joaquin, just going off filmography, did you see like 2 years ago? He did a movie called "You're Not Really Here." He plays like some kind of like hitman cleanup guy.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, great movie! It's a trippy movie because he's like working. I think he's some kind of ex-military guy, but he gets hired to be like a cleaner or a finder for people. It's all surreal, but it's a great movie, and I've always liked Joaquin Phoenix. I think one of the first movies I saw him, Gladiator, was like his breakout.
Yeah,
I loved him in Signs.
he stopped being River Phoenix's brother after Gladiator.
True,
Because before he kind of got big, it was just like, oh, it's just River Phoenix's little brother trying to be an actor also, and River Phoenix, one of those young guys that died way too soon. And,
yeah.
But yeah, no, you're right, Gladiator, and then the next one was what were you saying?
I said Signs, but I don't know if that's his next one.
I don't know if it was his next one, but like that was one of the other movies. It was kind of like a bigger, not blockbuster, but M. Night Shyamalan movie that had more notoriety, and people were like, "Oh, Joaquin Phoenix is actually," and then he won an Oscar.
Which for
didn't he win the Oscar for the Johnny Cash movie?
Oh yeah, he did.
Yeah,
but quick, just tying it to Marvel movies. I don't know if you know, Mark Ruffalo was going to be the Joaquin Phoenix character in Signs.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but apparently, if you see Mark Ruffalo's face, he kind of has like he had a stroke or something.
Mm-hmm.
When he
does that.
Right, when he was
side.
Right, when he was filming or when he was cast for Signs, like he had some kind of like ear cancer or something like that. That kind of he had to drop out of Signs.
I don't like to hear heavy stuff like that.
I'm sorry, dude. He had to drop out of Signs to get that taken care of, and like that, whenever they like extracted that cancer, it kind of like messed up with his face.
Kind of did like a Bell's palsy type
exactly.
thing.
But he was gonna be in Signs, but he was cast for Signs, and now he's obviously he's
and bringing it back. Joaquin Phoenix was actually going to be the Hulk, but then he saw that Ruffalo was up for it and felt bad for taking
he's
the
like,
Signs
I took
role.
your.
And so he gave it
Joker.
No,
No,
I get what you're saying.
But yeah, it's all connected. But no, when I saw that movie for the Joker, I was like, because it plays off the comedian with Robert De Niro, and he's like, when I realized my life wasn't a comedy, it's a tragedy. I was like, you made this for me, Todd Phillips.
Yeah.
Who made The Hangover of all movies.
No, I think it's going to be a legit movie.
And I like that since it's a Joker movie, he's like, F you guys, this is not based on anything. This is just Joker. Mm-hmm. And even Joaquin Phoenix I didn't read anything. And you don't need to read Joker comics to get that he's just like this.
He's a crazy dude.
He's a crazy dude. He's an unreliable narrator, kind of like Heath Ledger was telling people 3 different stories of how he got the scars. Mm-hmm. Taking it back, I think, to Batman's A Killing Joke, where you don't know what he's talking about because he's the ultimate unreliable narrator. Or he could be telling the truth in all those instances. In none of those instances, he could.
Some people just want to watch the world burn.
Yeah. No, damn it. That's not the right. Damn you, Tom Hardy and your dreamy eyes.
And people didn't like Tom Hardy's Bane. Like some people didn't like it, and I liked
the voice.
I still think it was great.
Yeah,
I think it was awesome. Like when they announced they cast him for it, he had just done Warrior, so he was already yoked, and you're already like, yeah, all right, cool, I can see this.
Well, you can see it in Inception where he's getting pudgy, so he's putting on that fat to build the muscle, kind of like when you see.
Whereas like Christian Bale did the exact opposite for Batman Begins. He did The Machinist right before and lost like 80 pounds.
No,
and was an emaciated like skeleton.
Right, but no, at the end of The Machinist, he's doing that, like, spoiler alert if you haven't seen The Machinist, he's doing that flashback scene where he, like, runs over the person that he's guilty about, and he looks all fat. Because he's putting on... But he was already big in American Psycho.
Yeah, I know, but he did American Psycho and then immediately lost all that weight.
Right.
So, like, it spoiler, like, again, if you haven't seen The Machinist,
great
go
movie.
Watch it just because know that right after that movie, Christian Bale went to be Batman. And you see him in The Machinist and go, how did this guy... how did this guy not die when filming this? Because when you see him also, you look at him and you think it's CGI.
Yeah.
The first time you see him without any clothes on...
When he does that little dance, like, ugh. creepy.
You think it's CGI.
Yeah.
It looks it genuinely looks the way Captain America looked when they show him before he gets bulked up. So like the way Chris Evans looks with CGI with his big head, his normal head
Benjamin
on
Button
the little
head.
Benjamin Button body, and that's what Christian Bale looks like. And you think that but that's legitimately his body. He lost all the weight and was basically just skin and bones. Should have died. And in all honesty, like Christian Bale, I love you. I hope you're taking care of yourself, because as many times as you have lost and put on weight, you probably won't live to be like past 70. Maybe.
No, what he did for Vice, good night.
He had heart attacks during that movie.
I did not know that.
Yeah, they said that he actually legitimately had a heart attack, but knew it was a heart attack because of the fact that Dick Cheney, like knowing the character,
right.
like he knew, he was like, yep, and he actually had to go to the doctor, to the hospital. So like, yes, like this man, great actor, because he's willing to put it all on the line for his roles.
For a little statue.
Like he lost all the weight for The Fighter also, and looked like a drug addict.
Love that movie.
He put on all the weight for American Hustle, to get fat and paunchy in that movie. So the guy,
I thought that was a fat suit.
No, he put that weight on. He legitimately put that weight on. So
I got mad when he did The Fighter, because as a balding man, when I'm like, oh, you're shaving your head, you butt wipe. But hey, he grew it all back. He has a luxurious mane.
Yeah, his Bruce Wayne hair is just legit hair. But yeah, no, like, I mean, taking it back, we're kind of got on a huge tangent because we started talking about Joker, and Joaquin Phoenix's Joker, but Heath Ledger's Joker, I think, is hands down the greatest performance of any villain in any comic book movie. I agree with you. If they hadn't, I don't necessarily say that they shouldn't have had Two-Face in the movie. They shouldn't have done what they did with him. That kind of bastardized the movie a little bit, but I still think it's, for me, it's 2, 1, 3.
Okay. It's like 2 was kind of like to do a Quentin.
Actually, you know what? No, I think that trilogy is 2, 3, 1 for me.
2, 3, 1. Yeah, I like 3. People were down on 3. I like 3.
I like 3, but because to me, Batman Begins, I think, was great as like an introduction to this new Batman.
Because we knew the story.
But it wasn't a great movie. Like, even the villain, like, I like Liam Hemsworth just fine, but not
Neeson.
Liam Neeson just fine.
Yeah.
But he, like, it was just kind of like, even that Ra's al Ghul was like that. To me, also, they kind of bastardized the character. They could have used more. So.
Well, that whole switcheroo of Ken Watanabe to Liam Neeson, I'm like, oh, Ken Watanabe looked like Ra's al Ghul.
Yeah.
So when they did that, I was like, okay. But I like Cillian Murphy as Scarecrow, and he was the only person outside of Christian Bale and Michael Caine to be in all 3 movies.
Yeah.
Which was, when I saw him in Dark Knight Rises, I'm like, oh, sweet. Like, you're in here too. Like, Death by Exile. Fine.
Michael Caine.
Michael Caine.
Why do we fall, Master Wayne? I failed you. So we can learn to pick ourselves back up.
God, you really love that band.
I love it.
Yeah, so I mean, that's talking about the next trilogy, like Christopher Nolan's Batman's. We can kind of just jump to it and cover it real quick because it was not really worth covering. But right after Batman Begins, we got Superman Returns, and I mean, it just shouldn't have been what it was. Like, Brandon Routh, God bless him, got tasked with an impossible.
He's coming back as Superman.
Yeah, the TV
show.
universe. Yeah. He's supposed to be playing the Kingdom Come Superman, I think. But he got a raw deal. Like, I think Brandon Routh he's not a great actor, but he's fine. And I think for what he was supposed to do, he did the job. Somebody gave him a script and said, "We need you to be Christopher Reeve in this movie."
And he went in
underwear. Yeah, he went in and was Christopher Reeve. So that movie wasn't great. Has Kevin Spacey in it, whose career's all but gone.
And singers, which is on its way.
So, breezing past that, that takes us up to.
What was that?
And honestly, it brings us right up to Iron Man.
Right, yeah.
Because the next big thing was Iron Man. X-Men was over. Last Stand kind of made people say we need a break from X-Men.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, they killed off like everyone.
Yeah.
So they X-Men took a break, and Marvel did the smart thing and said, you know what, we're gonna start producing our own movies, and we're gonna start putting them out there. And I think, actually, you know what? we forgot about a few. We also in that span
The Losers
got Punisher with Thomas Jane
and John Travolta. Jonathan Travolta.
We got Daredevil with Benjamin Affleck.
Benjamin Affleck.
And it's
Jennifer
future wife and ex-wife. Jennifer Garner with Elektra.
Mm-hmm.
And then we got Elektra because of Daredevil.
Yeah.
So we got those 3 movies. Not really that important, though, because nothing came of them. Daredevil came out. Everybody, I think, thought because Ben Affleck was in it that we were going to get like a franchise. And he signed on for multiple movies. And it just didn't do well.
Which another, Michael Clark Duncan playing a black kingpin. R.I.P.D. to Michael Clark.
I think it was. I honestly. So when I remember watching Daredevil and not thinking it was that god awful. I remember seeing it and being like, it's fine. Because I didn't have a scope. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
There were no other movies really to compare it to. It was just kind of like, all right, it's fine. And thinking, okay, they're going to do others, so maybe they'll redeem themselves and get it back. And I remember Michael Clark Duncan being cast. I was like, yeah, cool. They cast somebody not typical, like from what the comics would draw. But he just wasn't good, though.
No. What compared to Vincent D'Onofrio?
Yeah, he really took that character to another level, though.
I haven't seen the last Daredevil
season 3. He's just as good as he was in season 1.
Okay.
But Michael Clark Duncan, he was cast as Kingpin, but that kind of just shut things down. I think, honestly, but Daredevil wasn't produced by Marvel, though, either.
No.
So we got Punisher that wasn't produced by Marvel either. And I think they saw what these other production companies were doing and said, yeah, no, let us do this.
Right.
You guys aren't doing
Kevin
a good job.
Feige and Avi Arad.
They're like, no, we need to do something about this. Because Punisher Warzone was produced by Marvel. And
I did not know that.
It was better than Punisher.
It was.
Because it was violent.
Uber.
It was rated R. It was
the
first rated R Marvel movie. But I think the problem with Warzone is they were like, there's no marketability here.
Mm-hmm.
Because only 18 years and older are going to be able to come see this.
Right.
And they knew that who likes superheroes? Kids.
Me. Oh.
Well, I'm saying, but aside from us, they need more business than that. So they did the smartest thing they've ever done in their lives and cast
Terrence Howard. Oh.
Yep, Terrence Howard as Rhodey.
Next time, baby.
Yep.
He was the highest paid actor in that movie.
Yeah, and then Robert Downey Jr. put a stop to that in Iron Man 2.
Well, no, they approached him to do Iron Man 2, but he wanted more money than RDJ, and they're like, forget you, we got Don Cheadle.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I understand why he was the highest paid actor in Iron Man 1, because he was coming off an Oscar nomination. He'd just done Hustle and Flow. He was like the hottest
but also
thing out there.
I think Jon Favreau had to fight tooth and nail to get RDJ.
The studios didn't want him because they were like, is he going to go snort coke and then we're going to be out an actor? And he was working on turning himself around at that point.
Right.
And they did the smartest thing they could possibly do and cast him. Like Jon Favreau was able to get him.
Mm-hmm.
And the rest is kind of history after that, because Iron Man was...
What has he done since then?
The Judge.
With
his
where
his
Harvey
dad
Keitel. Robert Duvall craps himself.
Yeah, craps all over himself. That was the only movie he's done since then. Oh no, he did that other one with Jamie Foxx with the cello, where he plays like in the street.
Oh, and Due Date.
Yeah. Oh, Due Date. Mm-hmm. How could we forget that one? It's probably the best movie he's done.
Yeah.
Did a little small English film called Sherlock Holmes. Don't know if you saw it.
Is that the one with Doctor Strange?
Yes.
Okay, then I did not see it.
No. Honestly, I think Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man was kind of like, nobody could have seen where we are now when that first one came out.
Mm-mm.
But that first movie came out, and it just felt right.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I remember when they announced Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man, I was kind of like, okay, because all I had ever seen him in and stuff, like, you'd never seen him be like muscular or anything.
No.
He was just always kind of like a snarky guy, so you're like, well, the attitude and temperament maybe.
Yeah.
But I don't know about being a superhero. And then that first scene where, like, I mean, obviously, like the when he's hostage in the cave and he builds the suit, you're like, oh, this is cool. But like that first scene where the thing gets put on, like his armor actually gets put on when he finally builds it, you're just like as a comic book nerd,
right?
And you're seeing like the actual Iron Man suit, you're like, holy crap!
Which, looking back on it, I didn't know a lot of that was CGI.
Almost all of it is. Like, now you see the mocap suits that they're in, and you're like, oh, his whole armor is CGI.
Just all of that.
Like, it makes sense now, like, especially because they did the nanites now, so, like, obviously it has to be mocap. But, yeah, it was incredible. I thought he legitimately was walking around in a big giant metal suit most of the time.
Yeah, I just thought it was like, oh, awesome. Like, even in Iron Man 2, where he's doing the little rap party with DJ AM and stuff like that, I was like, oh, he's just in, like, a big rubber metal painted suit, but no, it's all mocap.
Yeah.
But yeah, I liked Iron Man. I didn't like the soundtrack to Iron Man 1. It just because
it was like hard metal and stuff like that.
Right, like that fart rock.
Because he was annoying. Tony Stark was annoying at that time, and he listened to annoying music.
But that went to Iron Man 2, which I didn't really care. Again, my War Machine will always be Terrence Howard, even though he's a volatile a-hole actor. I'm like, dude, if you would have just ate some humble pie, you would have.
The worst part is in Iron Man 1 when he goes back and he sees the suit and he goes, next time, baby. Nope. Don Cheadle gets that suit.
Like, oh, damn, snap your fingers.
But yeah, like, that would have been funnier. Yes. If they brought him back.
Yeah.
If War Machine had disappeared in the first snap, and then he snaps his fingers and he comes back and it's Terrence Howard.
Pay the guy. I mean, just for just lip service, just put him in it.
That would have been so hilarious.
I think he would have done
He comes running over to Tony as he's dying and he's like,
wait,
Rhodey?
What? That would have been funny. But yeah, that Iron Man 1 leads us into just however many, obviously 20, 22, 23 films of the MCU. I liked how all the stinger scenes were trying to create this through line, and then they just dropped it. Because I think at one point, in another actor who, if he would have just kept his trap shut, could have made a lot of money, Ed Norton as the Hulk.
Hard to work with also, though.
Right. At the end of the Hulk, I think the Avengers were going to come together to stop him. Because RDJ was talking about, let me talk to you about the Avengers to Thunderbolt Ross. And because I think someone did like a supercut of all the deleted scenes, and you're like, oh, none of these make sense for the first ones.
Yeah.
And then for like, I think after maybe Thor Dark World, they're like, oh, we're going to use Thanos. We're going to, they tried to like wrap it.
Yeah, to bring it together for this last part. Like, all the other ones were just kind of setting up the next movie, kind of, but not really tying everything together.
Which I hate that they started that whole, like, stinger scenes. I'm like, just tell... Because sometimes I'll watch a movie just for, like, okay, what happens in an hour and a half or 2 hours? Like, just tell me.
Yeah.
Like, I hate sitting through, like, who the production accountant was. I really don't care.
Well, yeah, because they do and then they start doing that thing with some mid-credit scene, and you get the mid-credit, and you're like, all right, cool, but then you're like, oh, well, now I still have to sit through another 5 minutes of this to get to the end credit scene.
No offense to all the hardworking people in Hollywood doing it, but I don't want it. I don't care who craft services was. Like, I really don't.
A lot of craft services people are crying right now.
They're like, unsubscribe.
Yep, they're not listening anymore. We're going to get a hardcore boycott from our
podcast.
4 episodes in. No more!
You didn't like craft services.
Yeah, I mean, Iron Man just completely set up the future. Because then, you start hearing Captain America. And then that was weird because Chris Evans gets cast, and you're like, wait a minute. Johnny Storm is going to be Captain America now? Like, Lucas Lee is going to be Captain America now?
Who's Lucas Lee?
Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. He plays.
Yeah. How many? He's been in like 4 different Losers.
Or no, is it the Losers?
Yeah,
Losers.
Scott Pilgrim.
Fantastic Four. And Captain America.
Mm-hmm.
But if I'm being
Snowpiercer.
If I'm being 100% honest, like, that was the next RDJ. Like, now it's like you look at Chris Evans,
Yeah,
you see Captain America.
Captain America, and he's getting all political now. So you're like, oh, you
really
trying
is
to
Captain
be
America.
Captain America?
Start walking around with a shield on his back all the time. But yeah, no, I mean, Captain America came out. We got a Thor movie that some people don't like, but I liked it a lot.
I like the first one.
I think the first one's amazing. I mean, Kenneth Branagh directed that.
Yeah.
And he brought a very Shakespearean feel to a character that should have a Shakespearean feel to him.
Yeah, I mean, he got Anthony Hopkins to play Odin.
He got Anthony Hopkins to play Odin, but the best thing that came out of Thor was Tom Hiddleston as Loki.
Oh, I was gonna say Rene Russo, but you're right. Okay.
She's really good. Yeah,
Totally
Rene Russo.
embarrassed. I was
Lethal
gonna
Weapon
say, like,
4,
Kat
Lethal
Dennings.
Weapon 3. Kat Dennings,
Mew Mew.
she was good also, but Tom Hiddleston was one of those things also where I walked out of Thor. I liked Thor a lot, and a lot of people don't put it as high in their Marvel rankings as maybe I would, but I walked out of that movie just because I was like,
Fully erect.
yes, 100%. No, because you go in seeing the superhero movie, and in all honesty, all of them had a serious tone to them, but Tom Hiddleston took the seriousness like to a whole nother level, like just with his legit like Shakespearean stage actor, just legitimately putting all of his
Like
energy.
the throne was supposed to be mine.
Yeah,
kind
and
of.
being angry and like yelling
Yeah.
at him and stuff like that, and you're just like, holy crap, like I really feel this. And thankfully he was carried over into several other movies, because of that. So Avengers, he's the biggest
all
antagonist.
the movies now.
Yeah.
And a Disney Plus show.
He is gonna get his own show, which hopefully he doesn't. Hopefully that's good. We'll see. I'm on the fence about all these shows that they've announced.
Yeah.
Like I don't get WandaVision. Like how do you do that? Spoiler alert. Like Vision's dead.
Or Love and Thunder. Which, come on.
That's
Disney.
not gonna be a show though.
Is it?
Thor: Love and Thunder is a movie.
Is it? Oh, jeez.
It's gonna be the one with Natalie Portman's gonna be the female Thor.
I think we could touch on like fatigue now. Where I think I haven't watched a lot. I didn't watch Homecoming. I didn't watch Far From Home. I didn't watch Ragnarok. I'll catch them on Netflix because I'm kind of fatigued because each has that 3 arc predictability where the end of all movies, it's a video game. Like we all have to get the hoobajube or where they call it in Spider-Verse, the MacGuffin or the
Goober.
The goober to like in Civil War. We got to get the goobers to the helicarriers to shut them down. It's all like in Ultron. We got to fight all the Ultrons. I'm kind of okay. I think once I saw Endgame, I was like, I'm good to not see a superhero movie for a little bit. Obviously, Joker being the exception because
It's not a superhero movie.
Yeah, and I don't think it's gonna end with a big superhero fight. Like I don't even know how they're gonna end that, or if Batfleck shows up, I will cream my
Shake
pants.
yourself.
Yeah, that too.
Just drops in, snaps his neck, and
Yeah,
leaves.
just like okay. But
I mean,
I think I'm a little fatigued at this point.
I get it.
What are we at? 12 years in almost, or 2008 to 2019, 11 years in.
I get it, but I don't have the fatigue yet.
Okay.
I still every time. I'll be honest. Like is it gonna be Phase 4?
I believe so.
So Phase 4, the announcements at Comic-Con, like one, they announced a bunch of TV shows that are gonna be on the Disney Plus service. Then they announced, some of the movies, and some of the movies are gonna be lesser known, kind of like Guardians, where you don't really know, like the Eternals.
I want to see the Inhumans.
Is it Inhumans or the Inhumans?
Well, they're
With
doing
Angel-
Eternals and Inhumans.
Which one's gonna have Angelina Jolie in it?
Eternals.
Okay. So the Eternals. Then they have what's the it's like I don't know what the title is. It's like more like a kung fu type one also.
Oh, Shang-Chi.
Yeah.
Or Shang-Chi or something.
Like, so that's lesser known. Not a lot of people know that.
Yeah.
You got the Thor movie, which is that's 2 years away.
Thunder Thighs.
Yeah. And then a lot of the Disney TV properties. But there's not anything big on that slate. Like, they didn't announce Black Panther 2. They didn't announce Doctor Strange 2.
I thought they did.
Nope.
Oh, wow.
The biggest one, taking it back to what we started talking about, for me, is the Blade reboot.
Mm-hmm.
So they didn't put a date on that one. I'm actually really, I wouldn't say excited, but I'm eager to see that one just because when they announced who they cast as Blade, I was like, because I kept thinking who could take over, who could take the role of Blade from Wesley Snipes and make it their own, and us not be comparing them to Wesley Snipes.
No.
And I did not think of John Malkovich, and then they announced it, and I was like, 100%. You know, I think it's totally time that they cast a white male,
please,
to play a predominantly black character.
There's not enough white characters.
Yeah, 100%. I heard, funnily enough, John Malkovich is going to do the entire role in blackface. So we'll see how that goes for his career. But
brave move, dude.
No, I'm just joking. Mahershala Ali is, if I'm being honest, was the biggest bright spot for me of the first Luke Cage season. He died, spoiler alert, he dies too early in that season. He was amazing in that. He was great in Green Book. He's just a really great actor in general.
I think he was in Predators.
I think you told me about that. Yeah. You talked to me about that, and we went back and looked at it, and yes, he was in Predators.
At first, I didn't like it because I'm like, oh, he's so scrawny from like the Green Book, and I think he was in Moonlight.
Moonlight, yeah.
And just
he has the ability to get like bulked up, though.
Right. And when I think I saw Predators like 2 weeks ago, I'm like, oh, okay, you can get big.
Yeah.
Not saying you need to be big, but
he doesn't need to be like huge. He just needs to be muscular.
Right.
But like thinking about it, it's like I can see him already with like the sunglasses,
right,
and the pointy teeth, and
I'm just mad that Sticky Fingers lost the role.
the TV show.
No, he should have. He's always been. It's been Wesley Snipes, Sticky Fingers, and John.
I never watched that one,
and you're the reason why he's out of a job.
Probably, yeah, 100%. But I mean, that was the biggest. I think that was the biggest thing, other than Thor. Like the only other character that people were like, "Oh yeah, we kind of know that."
Mm-hmm.
They didn't announce Spider-Man 3, like the new Spider-Man. So Marvel, it'll be interesting to see what they do at Comic-Con next year, because they're gonna like Guardians 3 still has to come out. I think the reason they didn't announce that is because James Gunn, because he got fired and then got brought back on. Part of the agreement to come back on was that they were going to let him finish Suicide Squad 2 first.
Electric Boogaloo.
So, yeah. So, until he's done with that, no Guardians 3. I heard rumblings that one of the actors on...
I farted.
I heard rumblings that one of the actors in the cast actually kind of alluded to a start date for production of Guardians 3. So, maybe that's coming sooner than later. For Chris Pratt's Wasteland, it should... probably come sooner than later, because
I am not a fit man, but I saw pictures of him lately.
Yeah, dude's not working out right now.
He's more than the sandwich away from being fat.
More power to him. He's newly married again and happy, and good for him, feeling good about.
But he married into the Schwarzenegger family.
Yeah, when your father-in-law is Arnold Schwarzenegger, you probably shouldn't be doughy.
No, when he's not doughy and he's like pushing 80.
Come on, Chris. Let's get in the gym. What are you doing? Let's do it. Let's work out. Oh my God, Catherine, why did you marry the schlub? Oh, it's.
I'm here too. What's your problem?
Yes, Ben, come spot him, Chris. Ben is going to spot you. Let's go. Do it. I don't understand how you could be fat in that family with your dad constantly telling you stuff like that.
Yeah.
Guardians 3 is... I'm eager for that one, because I think Thor will end up being in that one anyway.
It's going to be as Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
I think they alluded to it.
So, we'll see. I get the superhero fatigue, and I think a lot of people are getting that. But for me, I'm still eager to, see them. I'll be honest, I'll get the Disney Plus subscription and watch all those shows also. Mm-hmm. But it'll be kind of like with the Netflix shows. Like, if I wasn't into it, I gave up on Iron Fist. I just didn't like it.
Once I hear, rumblings of, I'm like, that's it. Okay.
I think the character is fine because they did the Defenders and they wanted to introduce him. I think he could have just been introduced in one of the other shows and not had his own.
How was Jessica Jones? Was that any good?
Jessica Jones is really good. So the first season is really good, and I'll tell you why. Because David Tennant is amazing
as the Purple Man.
Yeah, well, he doesn't. He's not called the Purple Man. He's
Captain Purple or Purple.
Well, in the comic book, yeah, he's something purple or whatever.
Titty Twister purple.
In the show, he's Kilgrave.
Right.
But outside of Loki, greatest Marvel villain.
Okay.
So good. David Tennant just kills it. Like, to me, like, a lot of people were like...
Above Topher Grace?
No hate on Black Panther or Michael B. Jordan at all. Like, I like Black Panther. I think the movie's good. I think Michael B. Jordan's good as the villain. A lot of people were saying that he was the greatest villain in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I completely disagree. I think he was fine in that film. I don't think he's the greatest villain in the cinematic universe.
No.
To me, Michael B. Jordan is a good actor.
That'd go to Paul Giamatti as Rhino.
Yep, 100%. Thank you. I'm glad we're on the same page. That end scene of Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Yeah.
There's nothing like it.
Shout out PG.
And the giant metal machine,
Yeah.
And the little Spider-Man gets in the street.
I'm sorry.
You're such a bastard. No, like I think Michael B. Jordan's good, and I think Black Panther's a good movie, but I didn't think he was the greatest villain we've ever seen. I still think Tom Hiddleston's probably the greatest villain, but then he becomes... You can't even really say that because then he becomes the likable villain that you're like rooting for. Yeah, the anti, like you just root for him. So, but to me, David Tennant is a revelation in Jessica Jones.
Yo, okay.
It's such just season 1. Season 2 falls off a little bit, and season 3 falls off even more.
Yeah.
But I think also because they knew they were on their way out. I think out of the series is, it'd be Jessica Jones and Daredevil, like close tie for the best ones, and then Luke Cage.
Season 1.
Daredevil season 1's really good. Daredevil season 2, the first half with Punisher, great. Last half with the hand and the Elektra stuff, not so good.
I didn't care for the Punisher.
Daredevil season 3 was good. I like the Punisher season 1. I thought it was fine, but I think Jessica Jones and Daredevil are right up there. Season 1 Jessica Jones, I think is a little bit better than Daredevil season 1.
Okay. Whoa. Okay.
Yeah, because to me also is like, if I think personally, the way I feel about it is like you could watch
You're a big Carrie Ann Moss fan.
No, I'm a big Christian Ritter fan.
Okay.
You could watch Jessica Jones, like season 1, and not know anything about Jessica Jones, not even know she's a Marvel character, not really be invested in comic books or anything like that. They have the comic book tie-in because Mr. Purple, Kilgrave,
it's
got a supernatural ability, and obviously Jessica Jones does too. But you could watch that and just get into the show purely, not being a comic book fan at all, and just be like, I love this show. Like the show's just good.
Okay.
Whereas Daredevil, like you kind of have to know a little bit of the backstory of the character.
Yeah.
Kind of be invested in that universe and stuff like that. But I think Jessica Jones is season 1 is amazing. So give it a watch if you have a chance.
No, I will.
Anybody listening, if you haven't watched Jessica Jones season 1, please watch it at Netflix if you want to pay me for promoting a show that you pulled off the air.
Yeah, that's going to be pulled off.
Please,
fairly soon.
You can send the check to at Marco 512.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I mean, I get the superhero fatigue, and I think it is even more prominent now because we're getting it from all angles. Like, we don't just have it on the big screen. You have all these shows. I'll be honest, a little superhero fatigued out on TV. Like, I was into, like, all the Arrowverse and CW, like, stuff.
Yeah.
And it's just been too hard to, like, keep up. Like, I still watch The Flash because I kind of like that show, and I think it's not as brooding and hard to watch. But like all the other ones, I never really got into Legends of Tomorrow. I fell off with The Flash. I watched Gotham for a little bit. Didn't really keep up with it. So yeah, there's so much, and it's coming at you from all angles. So, and then especially if you read the books too.
Yeah.
It's just it can be a little bit of a burnout.
The only and maybe because he's one of my favorite characters. When Constantine came out, the show with Matt Ryan.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, I honestly like the Keanu Reeves one too.
I think it's fine.
100%
young Shia LaBeouf.
But I mean, you had Jaimin Hansu, Rachel Weisz. You had these heavy hitters. Tilda Swinton, the ancient one.
I think the problem with Constantine was that it came out and nobody really knew that it was a comic
Mm-hmm.
and Hellblazer,
Right.
and then Keanu Reeves was cast at it, and it was kind of like it almost fell into the realm of like video game movies. You know what I'm saying? Whereas like
Yeah, like your Dooms. And...
yeah, like it to me like a Max Payne type feeling,
Mhm.
like with Mark Wahlberg. Not a lot of people remember that Max Payne was a movie.
I love the game, hated the movie.
Yeah, so like I think, but Constantine came out, and I think a lot of people that it wasn't a well known. It was kind of like Blade, so it didn't get a fair shake, and not a lot of people went to go see it. And Keanu was kind of coming off the Matrix stuff,
Right.
and I don't think people were ready to not see him as Neo,
Right.
and just didn't really give it. I think the movie's fine. Like I've seen it a couple times, but it was fine. I think the TV show, to be fair, unjustly got canceled. Like I thought it was actually a pretty decent TV show.
It was just one season with Harold Perrineau, and they cast Matt Ryan perfectly as you know. Obviously,
He's played him. He
in
came
the
over in
Legends
the
of Tomorrow.
Yeah, well, and in
Arrow.
So, they brought, and he plays the voice in the cartoons now. Whenever
Right.
he's on in one of the cartoon movies. So,
I think
like they did the
Angels
Dark.
or City of Demons or something like that.
Well, no, they did Justice League Dark. Yeah,
Okay.
He plays Constantine there. So, I think that's a character that deserves to be like have his own thing again. But I think TV's probably the way to go with him as opposed to movie. But yeah, I get it. Like it's just they're everywhere now, and it can be a little bit of a burnout. In terms of the movies, though, I still anytime Marvel's gonna make an announcement, I'm like, ooh, gotta know.
All right.
So, yeah, I think that's where we're at. But
Yeah, and I think it's a good stopping point.
Yeah, definitely. We rambled for a while about stuff. We'll probably end up talking about that more on other episodes, and you guys are gonna be like, "All right, we've heard it
We
already."
get it, you nerds.
You guys like Marvel movies, some of them.
And yeah, I think we kind of hit on how DC sucks.
We didn't. No, we really didn't hit on DC movies at all because we stopped after Christopher Nolan's Batman.
Oh no, but saying, I mean, I guess we could kind of.
We can dedicate a whole episode next time to how DC movies are terrible.
Yeah.
Not all of them, but they just haven't done a great job with their properties. We talked about it a little bit in the first couple podcasts, I think. So we really kind of just dedicated most of this to the Marvel universe, but that's also because they've kind of done the most for lifting
Lion's share of everything that's
for
out
lifting superheroes and pop culture to where they're at right now is solely kind of on them. They've really elevated it to a whole nother level, and who knows what the next 10 or 15 years is going to hold. For all we know, in 15 years, people won't even be talking about superhero movies anymore. Marvel would have gone bankrupt, and
Again.
yeah, I doubt that's going to happen. But
No, I think it's you see a lot of people like your Chris Evans and your RDJs where they're just like, this is great, but I want to direct or I want to produce. I think Chris Evans wants to direct.
Chris Evans said that when he first got cast as Captain America. He said he was on the fence about doing it because he said then, he goes, I'm signing on for the next 10 years of my life.
Yeah.
Like, that's a big commitment. Like, knowing that this is the next 10 years of my life. And yes, he did other stuff in between, but predominantly his life was dictated by the Marvel universe. And how many people saw Puncture, which is a Chris Evans movie where he plays a lawyer who has a drug addiction problem.
Yeah.
Or Snowpiercer, that was a great movie.
Yeah.
But not a lot of people actually saw it.
Right.
They're doing a TV show now. Like, they're going to have like an Amazon show or something like that. So, I totally get it. Like, but who knows? I kind of made the joke earlier. It's like, give me an actor who hasn't been in a Marvel movie yet. It's like, you almost can't now because everybody's been in
Or everybody wants to.
Everybody wants to or has been somebody in one of the Marvel movies, even if it's been a minor character.
Yeah.
So, it's just crazy to think that they're trying to still sign, these actors that are kind of got notoriety, to movies. And it's some actors, Leonardo DiCaprio, I think, wants nothing to do with superhero movies, which he doesn't need to.
No, right.
So for all we know,
he's Jack.
He's going to end up being Namor.
That would be
legitimately okay.
Yeah, because you died in the ocean, and you came out as Namor. Yes.
I just said that, and I'm like, holy crap.
That
Leonardo
works.
DiCaprio could be Namor. He's going to be in Black Panther too.
Who? Namor is going to be in Black Panther
Oh,
2.
I'm like, whoa. Oh, yeah, he is.
They haven't cast Namor yet, though.
Mhm.
So, Marvel, if you're listening,
Leo,
get him. Get him before he's gone.
before Great Gatsby 2 starts filming.
Yeah, never mind. I'd rather see him in Great Gatsby, too.
All right. But again, this has been Kicks and Comics. We kind of went a little bit heavy on our Marvel fandom, loved them, but again, they're...
Don't worry, we'll give DC its due next time.
They're everywhere.
And by
So,
due, I mean we'll, take a giant poo on all their movies.
take them out back and just put them out of their misery. This is 82nd Astronaut. Marco, hit us up on Instagram at Kicks and Comics. Just rate us, drop us a line,
Tell us we suck.
whatever.
Whatever you want.
So until next time.
All right, later, guys.
Peace.